Hello and welcome back to Harmony Yoga. Today's practice is going to involve a block, a strap or a bathrobe, belt, anything like this, and then an eye bag, or if you've got just a towel you can use for your relaxation. So today I want to talk to you about this topic that has come up a couple different times over the last few days, and it's the topic of letting go. So in a business setting, it doesn't sound so good to let go. It sounds like you need to, stay in action, you need to stay busy, you need to stay focused. But when I use the term let go, I think it insinuates this letting go of the gripping of the mind, the overworking of the mind, the rumination, the fixation. It means trusting your higher purpose, perhaps, or in my case, I like to let things go and just trust that God has got my back and that I am going to be moved in the right direction, so I can stop overthinking. So that's kind of what I mean about letting go. I'm interested to know what those words mean to you. And today in our practice, I want to just help you be able to let go of the gripping in the mind, the body, and the spirit, which of course is the trifecta of our yoga practice. It is a mind, body, spirit practice, and letting go in the mind can start to help the body let go. The breath is the spirit, and that's what we can create, this freedom of the breath. So to begin with, in the seated position, I want you to just start to notice. So I just set my hips up on a block so that I can sit more comfortably, pulling the low back in, lifting the heart, taking the throat back. And I'm just going to ask you to take a comfortable seat whatever works for you, sitting on your lower legs, even laying down. If sitting doesn't feel comfortable on the floor, you can sit up on a chair, and of course you can lay down as well. So you've got all kinds of options. Now, I just got home from a nice little hike, and yoga feels great to me after exercise. Some people prefer to do it first thing in the morning. My husband has a beautiful yoga practice every day, first thing in the morning. And it kind of varies for me. So that's what I love about this YouTube video. For you, you can play it anytime you want to, and you just know that it's always here and available for you. So sitting up or laying down in any place that feels comfortable for you, I want you to begin to tune into the breath. So sometimes letting go starts with an awareness that you're gripping, starts with an awareness that there's a tension, whether it's in the mind, the body, or the spirit. And focusing the breath, taking the breath to wherever you might feel that. Again, mind, body, or spirit. I'm going to use all of those terms, making this work for you. So bringing your awareness to the body, pay attention to all parts of the body and how those parts feel. Relax and feel your body getting lighter. I simply give you permission to let go more. Devote your attention to your breathing. Stay aware here and observe. Taking that deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. And if you're stuffy and you need to pause and go blow your nose, feel free. But ideally, you are breathing in and out through the nose. Notice where that breath might start to get stuck, where there might be some stagnation or blockage. And doing this practice for me helps me become aware of those limiting beliefs that are kind of stuck in my head that keep me from moving forward on the path. So maybe this practice will simply help you with creativity, with perseverance, with getting out of your own way so you can move forward in the direction of your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. Once we bring those thoughts to light, we realize they really don't have any substance. Those thoughts become irrelevant after we expose them to the light, or maybe even sharing with a friend. So breathing from this place deep within your stomach, you can even put your hands on your stomach, and then make your belly push out when you inhale and let it pull in as you exhale. This is called belly breathing. Imagine that you have a balloon inside of your stomach, and when you breathe in, imagine that balloon expands, pushes the stomach out. And note the rhythm of your breathing. It's coming and it's going. Pay attention to the feeling of the air moving through your nose. So when we talk about awareness or being the observer or noticing, notice we're not trying to alter the breathing, we're just trying to notice it. So we're just allowing the breath to fill with the air. We're not forcing or manipulating the breath. We're just allowing, bringing that awareness, noticing how we feel. If you're having difficulty keeping your mind from wandering, you can count your breath, one number for each breath. And when you reach 10, start over or reverse the count. Feel the difference between counting on the in-breaths or on the out-breaths. Or don't count at all and just pay attention to the muscles that produce the breath. Do you feel yourself holding tight? If I ask you to let go more, can you feel yourself relax more? Paying attention to the way that you breathe in different situations, such as when you're walking, running, when you feel relieved or happy or tired. Because when you do this exercise in your yoga practice, you start to take these messages, these ideas off the mat with you. Maybe when you're struggling to be able to sleep at night, you can take this practice with you to help you relax. Or even in a tense situation, whatever that might be, you always can come back to the breath. So now simply bring the hands to the heart. And we bring our hands here. I mean, this is a place of prayer, but it's also a place of centering. It's a place where you can even inhale and gather all the energy around you, all your scattered energy, and bring it into the heart. So coming into this place of being centered, being aware. And notice we bring the hands more toward the heart. You know, we don't bring our hands up to the head. We're going to relax the thoughts, coming down into that place of our true essence here in our heart. Taking another deep breath in. Nice, relax your hands. Go ahead and come up off of the block. And if you're on the ground, slowly hug your knees into your chest. And then you're going to roll off to the side and come up to a seated position. Good. Bring your hands to your knees and inhale. Lift the heart, pull the low back in and up, even lifting the chin. And then exhale, drop the chin, scoop the tailbone, draw your belly button back toward the spine. And let's do that one more time here. So one great way to begin any practice is to start to warm up the spine. So the spine moves forward and back, and it also goes side to side. So bring one hand down, the other hand up toward the sky, pushing that opposite hip down. So now you've got this long line of energy. Taking a deep breath in as if you're only breathing into that lung, where the hand is raised, breathing in, stretching. You don't need to overdo it here, but just bring the awareness to that side of the body. Good, and exhale, notice. So I can see myself in my camera, and can you notice how much length I just created on the side of that body? I'm a little bit kittywampus, and I'm not doing that on purpose, but now maybe you notice that on yourself too. So now go to the other side. I want you to become aware of what actually is opening here. It's connective tissue. I just had a therapeutic massage yesterday, and what she really was doing was opening up the connective tissue. So I've talked about this before, so forgive me for those of you, I'm repeating myself, but the connective tissue can kind of bunch up like your shirt could be bunched up. And by just smoothing that out, it's like taking an iron and ironing out the wrinkles. Good. Now when we come back to center, you notice I'm a little more level. So your spine goes front, back, side, side, and also twists. So what I want you to do is come back to the hands on the knees, pull the low back in and up, and then we're going to start to turn from the opposite side. So in my case, I'm taking my left lung over toward the right, and the left hand can go to the right knee, and the right hand is going to go behind me. Inhale, elongating the spine, turning, twisting. So I don't care what you do with your head. I don't want you to create more tension in the neck. So notice I'm still in a twisted position, whether my head is turned over my shoulder or not, because we're starting from rooted pelvis, the left lung coming to the right, the left shoulder going to the right, and then I can turn my head. But the majority of that turn and that twist is coming from the torso. In most all of our cases in yoga, it's not about the periphery of the head. It is about what's happening to the core. So now do that again. Inhale, push the hands against the knees so the low back pulls in and up. Good, so you create that length. We've got the long side body we've already created here. And then this right lung is gonna go over to the left hand to the right knee, pushing the left fingertips into the earth behind you. So how we set up the posture matters, because then we get into the posture and we can actually let go with the breath. So that's kind of the message I want to have permeated into our practice today, is with the proper setup, then we can begin to let go. So with the proper intention, the alignment, then we can begin to let go. Go ahead and release and come back to center. So let's start out now here in a sun salutation. So how we can do this is on our hands and knees. Walk the knees back a little bit, lifting the hips up, coming into a down dog. So here, feel free to bend the knees. I'm just gonna make sure my thing doesn't pop out of my ear. All right, so now we can bend and straighten as we like, pulling the low back in, maybe even bending one leg and then the other. So go ahead and just explore here. This is your practice. If you've already done a down dog today, maybe you don't need as much of this bending one leg and then the other. If this is your first down dog, like it is mine, then maybe we start to bend deeper and move the hips side to side. Bending both knees now, look up at your hands, spread the fingers wide, press down through all fingertips and the mound of the index finger. Hug the arms together, send the energy up the spine and down and over the hips. Straightening the legs or keeping a small bend here, you decide. Lift and separate the toes and press down through the ball of the big toe and spread your little toes way out to the sides. Waking up all those tissues that maybe have been overworked or underworked. Slowly walk your feet up towards your hands, coming into a forward fold. Same thing here, we're gonna keep a bend in the knees so we can pull the low back in and up. So we always wanna protect the low back, and we do that here by bending the knees, keeping the low back in, even bringing the hands to the hips is fine so you're not overextending toward the earth. Then you can play around with inhaling, lifting, exhaling, lowering. So we're not overstretching to the earth, protecting the low back. Good, and then next time we bend, let's bring the hands forward and come into chair. I'm gonna move back a little bit so you can see a little better. Good, rise, bring the hands to the heart. So now let's go around for a sun salutation. Coming to the front of your mat, inhale, lift your arms up to the sky, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, release down, and step the right leg back to deep lunge. Move the hips side to side. Coming to the place of the middle, bring the front knee right on top of the ankle, and then bring the left arm up to the sky. So right leg is back, left foot is forward, left arm lifted. Draw the shoulder blades together on the back. lifting the back thigh higher and scoop the left hip under. Nice job. Bring your hands around so you're in this wide-legged forward fold position and release. Spin back to the front, step back to downward facing dog. Good. Bring the right leg up to the sky, turn and look under your left or your right armpit. Bend the right foot and press it out to the left, scooping the tailbone. Oh, nice stretch. Good, now swing the foot up and through between your hands. Come onto the left fingertips and reach your right arm up to the sky. Move your hips out to the right. Scoop the right hip under, draw the shoulder blades together on your back. You can keep the top hand on your hip if that feels better for your shoulder. Notice, same shape, right? So no need to put your shoulder in a weird position if that doesn't feel right. Good, one more time now we're gonna come into that wide-legged forward fold. Staying with the breath here. So you're supported on your arms, your elbows, maybe some of you on the top of your head. Letting go with the exhale. Good, spin yourself around to the front of your mat. Step forward, forward fold. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. All right, let's go around on the second side. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Release the hands, letting go. And one more time, inhale up to the sky. And exhale, come to your forward fold. Now, obviously you can be using a block here for your forward fold that protects the low back. If the floor is too far away from you, the props just lift the floor up. Inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, release down. Energetically send your energy from the earth all the way up your legs to the hips and then over the spine and release and relax the head. Good. Reach the left leg back to deep lunge. Come upright. Squeeze the legs together. Inhale, lift your arms up to the sky. Inhale, draw the inner thighs together, and then exhale, draw the knees apart, forward and back. And then bring the hands together, bring the left forearm or the left elbow to the right knee, pressing the hands together, turning, gentle twist here. So just like we did from a seated position, the left lung is coming over to the right here. You can separate your hands if that feels comfortable for you. Good, bring your hands down to the mat. Step forward, top of a push-up position. So my toes are curled under obviously. Lift the inner thighs, scoop the tailbone. Push forward onto your tippy toes, bend the elbows, keep them tucked in by your side. Slowly lower down. Untuck your toes, stamp the tops of the feet down, rotate the shoulders up and away from the floor. Drag the hands back, reach the heart forward, cobra. Check yourself here, reaching your hands back to the side or forward, and notice that we're not straightening our arms here. We're dragging the hands back, pressing the elbows into the side. Good, and then lower, push back to child's pose. Press the forehead into the earth, or you've got your block here. If the earth doesn't readily come to you, bring the earth to you through your block. Extend your arms out in front, come up onto your fingertips, press the fingertips down, lift the outer armpits. Plant your hands, Turn the toes under and lift up to down dog. Lift the left leg up to the sky. Push your hands evenly into the earth. Bend your knee. Scoop the tailbone and push the left foot out to the right. Turn and look under your left armpit. Good. Release that foot all the way up and through between your hands. Hug your legs together on the inhale, and then separate your legs apart. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Reach a little bit higher with the right hand. Again, we've got all that connective tissue now all the way from the fingertips to the toes. Bring your hands together at the heart. Twist now, right elbow over left knee. Press your hands together. Right lung moves over to the left, and then you can separate your hands here if you prefer that option. Release. Step forward, forward fold. Lift and separate your toes. Press down through the ball of the big toe. Separate your little toes way out to the side. Drop your hips. Come to seated, facing front. Checking in with yourself here. Notice in a short practice, we still can move that energy around rather efficiently. So it doesn't take long before we start to feel a little more clear, a little unblocked. So I want to do a little hip opener here. So let's try it this way. We'll kind of walk into this together. So take your legs out in front. Lift and separate your toes, press the heels down. So if I hyperextend my knees, then my feet pop up off the floor. So I want to keep a slight bend here, and I do that by pressing my heels down. And then press into the earth behind you. Lift and open the heart. Yeah. Looks like such a simple posture, but can you feel the muscle energy throughout the body? Everything is active here. And then cross the right leg over the left. And you're gonna work through this. So if this is enough of a stretch for you, I can already feel that up into my left hip from hiking this morning. What is it my teacher Marcia used to say? If your hips are tight, that means you're alive. So it's a blessing, right? That's just what we do. We create that opening one day, we go to bed, and the next day we're tight again, and that's okay. So with this, in this situation here, you can even start to come forward, bringing your heart toward your knee, moving that left hip back. So that might be enough of a stretch for you. The variation, and you can just see what feels good for you here. I'm gonna bend the left knee. So now my knees, you can't really see too well because I'm in on the black. I don't know if that helps. My knees are stacked one on top of the other. Grab a hold of your ankles. Lift and open the heart. And you may start to fold forward here if you want something a little more challenging. Folding forward, but pushing your hips back as you do that so you protect the low back. Good, and rise. Straightening both legs again. Let's come back into that staff pose. So we're pressing the heels down so the knees are nice and safe, pushing into the earth, lifting the heart. And then cross the left knee over the right. Knees are stacked here. My toes are lifted and separated on both feet. That keeps the muscle energy going up. And it keeps us from, so this is called a sickle when your foot is so twisted. So we really want to act like we're stepping on the floor, pressing through the ball of the big toe, lifting and separating the toes so we don't get into this action. Is that easy enough to understand? I really do miss teaching in front of a classroom. So you guys, I'm doing my best here. All right, so crossing the knees one on top of the other. And again, grabbing the knee and pushing the right hip back, heart extends forward. So I don't need to collapse here. I'm going to keep the spine tall and lifted. I'm just moving the heart forward. Yeah. And then if you want the challenge, you can go ahead and bend that bottom knee, grabbing the ankles, lifting, pulling the low back in and up, lifting the heart, and then we're pushing the hips back and reaching the heart forward. And that gives a different stretch into the hips. Good, and rise. Now we're going to come into, I call this like the little mermaid position. So the top, you can take your feet, let's do it all together. If we take our feet out to the left, then my left ankle is going to be into the arch of my right foot. So my knees are staggered just a little bit here. Right hand is down behind me, and the left hand can come onto the right knee. So remember in the beginning we talked about before we did the twist, we want to create that length, and then we slowly turn. Good, and come back to center, and then the legs over to the other side, left hand behind you, right hand to the left knee. Elongate the spine, we gently turn and twist. Good, and come back to center. Bring the soles of the feet together. So I'm going to show you this way, and then I'm going to come onto the mat sideways. So I've got room here. Pushing the hands into the earth behind. Lift the hips. Point the groins down toward the earth. And stay here, or feel free to come down onto your elbows or even onto your back. So in this position here, you can stay or you can straighten your legs out. And this is when, you know what, I told you we were going to use a strap, but we're not going to use it, so sorry about that. Grab your eye bag or a towel and go ahead and place it over your eyes. And notice the simple weight of this eye bag helps to ground the central nervous system by relaxing the eyes so the eyelids aren't fluttering anymore and the eyes can just relax and they kind of move back into the skull. It's very grounding and calming to the central nervous system. So if we think of that, you know, that high alert place we sometimes are, it puts our central nervous system on fire, and that your body really is not operating at its best. It's not really healing, even resting or digesting very well. So when we come into that relaxed state, that's in a better state of wellness, a better state of well-being, and we do that through simple things like a weighted eye bag on our eyes, even a weight over your thighs, a blanket, a heavy blanket, or an animal or a small child across your thighs. And I'm going to have you resting in that position, or you are welcome to, like I said, lengthen your legs out, coming into this restorative position. In Sanskrit, it's called Shavasana. It's really a corpse pose. So, you know, they say how you die most of the time is a reflection of how you live. And so if we learn in our life how to let go and how to be at peace, imagine that creates an opportunity for a more peaceful death. And it's something I aspire to, is to be able to die peacefully. And I practice this corpse pose as a way to connect with what's important to me and to let go of the rest. So I invite you to do the same. So finding your comfort place in this posture, bring the awareness once again to your body. Bring your awareness to the breath. Notice how this might feel different in this lying posture versus when we started class today. That's really the whole point, right? The point of yoga is to feel better when you finish than when you began. And so I want to just take you through this little journey here with your breath. So relaxing, feeling your body get lighter, even though the back of your body is grounded toward the earth. Even though you have the weight of the eye bag and the imaginary or real weight across your thighs. So you're grounded, but your body itself feels lighter. Direct your attention to your breathing, staying aware. We stay awake here and we observe. Breathing deep inside your stomach. Again, you can place your hands on your belly just to prove to yourself that you're doing this belly breathing. Imagining that you're blowing up the balloon on the inhale. The belly expands, and then the belly relaxes, the hands fall on the exhale. So we note this rhythm, the coming and the going, this breath, the feeling of that breath on the nostrils as we breathe in and out. Maybe even paying attention to the temperature of the breath. Maybe it's a little bit cool on the way in and a little warm on the way out. Follow the breathing without trying to alter it. Keeping your mind from wandering, simply count the breaths, either counting on the in-breath or the out-breath. Give you a few options here. Staying in this relaxed position as long as you like, or I will kind of coach you through how to get up to keep this peace that you've created in the body. We do that not by jumping straight up, but by slowly moving the fingertips and toes, the ankles, the wrists, slowly hugging the knees back into the chest. And then rolling to the side and pushing yourself up sideways to the seated position. So if we just rolled up from our back, that is alarming to the central nervous system, and it's actually bad for the back. It can create a little tension in the back. So we want to, create the length, the freedom, and the peace in the body that we've created. So we come up sideways, bringing the hands together in front of the heart. Notice the feeling of letting go. It is with this intention that I leave you today, that when we put our intention in the right place, when we get ourselves in the proper action, we can let go of results, we can let go of overthinking, and we can let go of any manipulation or outcome of others. We keep just pouring in to ourselves, we can pour more freely and authentically into other people. Blessings on this day. Or in Sanskrit, we say namaste, meaning that light in me honors that light in you. Thank you so much for being here today.